So what's very interesting about home practice is that you can create your own energy in your own area. That means to say, to be aware, have good intent of practice, but be aware physically, be aware mentally and emotionally. So to do that, to bring all of that awareness, we need to use our breath. So I'm just going to come into a very quick exercise now. So have a look at the screen. All right, so this is one of the ways you can work with your breath. So let me just show you. Firstly, we start with the chest open, the legs grounding down, bending one leg. Coming forward, that hinge in action, forward. As we come forward, the abdomen draws back. We hook, take the hand. So we are in a pose, we're in a pose. It's a very open pose, the abdomen, the diaphragm, not squashed in any way. Hopefully you're high enough so that you get this action. So join in now. So work with me, be in this position, make sure that the front leg is absolutely straight and strong, and you're coming into this very nice open twist here. Now when you're here, you just don't hold your breath and wait. You breathe into it. So you breathe and broaden. Breathe and open your chest cavity and then let the breath release. So in your own time now, this is your practice. Just have a couple of breaths being aware of this Marichyasana, one action, being aware of your breath. Breathe into the upper chestal area. So you want to see it's the rib area that you want to breathe into. So just be quiet as you find that opening. So what we're doing here is finding that quietness, that really nice opening that comes from observation. Take a few moments. So it might be that at first the breath has a funny tune. It's a little bit imbalanced in some ways. The tone may not be just one long nice tone, and that's what you want to achieve. You want to see when you're in this pose that you are breathing and opening and unfolding the body, ready for your practice. Okay, come on then, let's do the other side. So straight legs, nice straight legs. Go back to this point of starting. So the point of starting is in Tadasana. We can see this so much. Roll your shoulders back and down. Then we take the leg and we come for the other side. So we hook and we're in this position. Now for this side, you may be shorter, you may be longer, but you want to see, you make your frame and then you start observing your breath. So you want to see that you fit in 4 or 5 breaths. You can hear that in the mic that, yeah, actually, you know, it's a really nice deep action. So you want to breathe into that chest cavity, find that center, breathe into the center, and then see if you can find that expansion. It's a really nice way to find those deeper tissues, those deeper areas in the body that perhaps sometimes we only work very, very rarely. So just be there in your breathing, in your Marichyasana, be in it. Okay, well done. All right, so we are coming into this a little bit slower today. So I know that it is a standing week, it's a standing lesson, but we want to start in the right way. So what I'd like you to do now is to release, sit in Tadasana for a couple of moments, roll your shoulders back and down, lift your sternum chest. Now we're going to be working with a chair. Now I know we've touched on this over the last week or so, or the last few weeks in recording. Now when you're in this position, I want you to see that you're using a chair. Why? Why would you use a chair when we've got all those beautiful asanas? Well, to get the most out of your asana, you have to have an open body. You want to get open. Now, when the knees are really tight, you want to see that you just energize. And what I'm doing here is pushing down with the buttock bone and then hooking the arm. So it's not dissimilar to the Marichyasana that we've just done. Very, very similar. So we're in this position, rolling the top shoulder back and down, being here. And then extending the arm up. So hopefully you're working with me. Now, you want to ground down into that lower leg and lift up through the center of the body, and then see, now you're finding that familiar action. Now, what I want you to do is to get as much length as possible and move the frontal shin. You can see I'm moving the front shin forward, forward, forward. I'm moving, moving, moving. And then I bring the hands into a prayer position. So I want to see that the thumbs come onto the chest and I open in this way. So we are seeing if the back body is acknowledging any of this action. Okay, and then we come out of the pose. You can use your arm to help steady you, balance you. So if you found with any of that the balance was really quite a challenge, then don't worry about that. Find a wall, so you've got a wall nearby. You can always put your hand onto the wall to give you a little bit more stability. All right, have a look and see. Now, how we're going to practice this is, again, in the same way. We want to see that when we come into this action, firstly, we're grounding down with that back leg. And the key thing here is to just wait for a moment and let the buttock move down. And then this head shin extends forward. And get this connection. Get this lift, get this understanding and awareness. Then the arm comes up and over. You want to open that hip joint. Soften your belly. Get that length. Get the length through the side waist. And then once you feel you've got all of that extension, take your hands into a prayer position. Now, they're not there for decoration. The hands are not for decoration. You want to move the dorsal spine in. You can see this action. Dorsal spine in. And then extend and come up and stand in Tadasana. So depending on the pose, depending on the demand of the pose, will depend how long you stay in your Tadasana. But I want you to come back to that breath again. Hands beside you and reach those arms down, lift up through the center of the body. Just take a few deeper, longer inhalations. Now, with all standing poses, particularly the lateral ones, you've got to hold your body up. This means to say that these back muscles need to be really nice and broad. And to do this, we come into the Gumbalkasana action. So those of you who need to have a belt to catch, then use a belt for the palms and be in this position and lift up, reach up out of the pelvis. Get that turning action of the shoulders. So there's a slight lift and rotation if you can manage it. And go up, go up. So those shoulder blades move in really strongly. So getting all of that length, all of that length. Okay, well done. And stand in Tadasana and wait for a moment. I know some of you have started the other side. Come back to Tadasana. So be mindful of this. Such a beautiful action, such a wonderful way of working. Let the shoulders release down, let the arms release down, and the center of the body to go all the way up. Now, whilst you're in Tadasana, I want you to just visualize and sense a pile of books on your head and go all the way up towards the ceiling. So it's a soft inhalation and exhalation. Just be there. Examine, explore. Okay, and release them, release them. All right, so what I'd like to do is to go through Virabhadrasana 2 today, because it's one of those poses that we tend to half do. And I want to explain that when you come into this pose, there is a division down the center of the body. Now, by holding, the means of holding onto this chair, pushing it down, helps me divide the body in half. Now, the whole of my left side needs to go to the left. The whole of the right side needs to go to the right. Now, the legs need to be wide enough because I've got this chair here. I can widen the legs so that I can find some space in the pose. Now, you want to see that the inner thighs are moving away from one another and you're pushing very strongly into the feet. So you want to go down into a square like this. So a lot of the time, this square is not being made. It's like this. So I want you to really be brave with this pose. And you can feel your muscles. If it's too much, you can ease off. But be brave with your stance. Take your stance wider so that you've got space for this very long thigh bone to make a square. This is really important. So we're going back to basics, really. So when we're here, when we hit those basics again, they mean so much more to us. You want to see that the legs have got breadth and broadness there in this position. So you've got the chair to hang on to. How lovely is that? Okay, let's have a go on the other side now. So see that you turn the legs, turn the feet, get that rotation of the thigh, and as you do so, holding onto the chair and being in this really nice position. So it's a square, yeah. So have a few goes at this. You know, they are really nice hip openers. So see that you're getting your Virabhadrasana to action with that division, All right, so hopefully you've had enough time to have a go at that. Have another go, just have a look though firstly before you go into it. So what we're going to do this time is to bend the leg like this. Now see that you're lifting up through the center, but you're going down. Then we take the arms, and can you look along those fingers there? Okay, and then releasing. Okay, you have a go now, it's your turn. So turn the feet, get the arms out, and then see how much you can go into the classic pose. You might want to start off with the chair, see how far you can get the square, and then ignite the arms. Whichever way you're doing, see that you are making a difference in the muscle fiber, because boy, do we need to have long fibers in these poses. It is critical that you do actually start to get movement here. Okay, so you've done both sides, had a go. Come on, quickly catch up. Do the other side. See that you are making a difference, extending, making that square. Breathe. And then take those arms out and look along the fingers there. So it's a really nice wide stance. So Virabhadrasana 2. Okay, well done. Come back, everybody, now in Tadasana. So hopefully you've had a nice go at really understanding that angle. So Tadasana, roll your shoulders back and down, extend those arms down. Let them weight down. As they weight down, lift up through the center of the body and breathe. Now I want you just to take your hands, your palms to your eyes just for a moment, and just pop your palms, well, it's your fingers actually, onto the eyes, and just be there for a moment. Lift up through the center of the body and breathe. Now taking the hands away but still keeping the eyes closed, extend down with the palms and lift up through the center. So get this control in the body. And then opening your eyes. Well done. All right, so just have a look now. I'm not going to use the chair, but those of you who have got difficulty in the knee, difficulty in the hip, then by all means do take the chair, no problem at all. I'm going to put a couple of bricks here like this. Might want to have it like that, we'll see. So if you're working on the chair, you can still work on the chair. Just have a look at the screen, you'll be able to see the variation. So we're coming for Parsvakonasana, reaching that really long extension, that long reach that we did on the chair, pushing down into the back foot. Now my hand's flat here. Now my arm is pushing this inner thigh away. It's really giving it a good stability. So you want to see that you get in that. All of this side waist is coming forward and I'm getting the rotation. And then the arm comes over. So it may be that you want to go a little bit lower than these bricks here, but you notice my hand was flat. My hand was flat. So come on, let's have a go. If you haven't already started, and I will do the other side. So when we're here, we're coming into some of that teachings on that Vibhadrasana to action, that action of preparation, lengthening, getting all of that nicely. Then taking your hands down to the support, pushing back, lifting up nicely, extending up and over. So you may want to go down onto a flatter brick maybe, but be sure you don't lose the integrity of the angle or the rotation, the opportunity to rotate the upper chest. And then once you're done, then coming up. Okay, so have a go on both sides if you haven't already, remembering that you can always stop the video. Okay, so stand in Tadasana. Stand in Tadasana, feet together. Roll your shoulders back and down. Let the arms just release. And again, be aware of this lift through the center of the body, that grounded action of the thighs and the legs. So these pauses in your practice become really important. They're important pauses, ready to move on to the next pose. So just have a look. We're coming into Prasarita Padottanasana, and we're going to come in different ways now. We're going to use the arms, so just have a look. Now my first action is extend the arms in this way. Now I'm not going to push them away from me. I want the arms to ground down so my chest is lifted. So if you're working with me, then extend down in this way, lift up with the chest, pin those shoulders back really nicely, extend forward. So be here, then extend extend those arms as far away as possible. So you don't want them coming over your head. You want them really to stabilize the grounded action of the shoulder blades towards the back waist. Now, those of you who have got quite a lot of agility, you want to really push those arms back. I'm resting my head to the floor, but I mean, you can rest your head onto some support that may give you a little bit more stability. But remember, why are you working the arms? You're working the arms for the shoulder blades. So this action needs to happen, that pulling down, shoulder blades moving down, really getting that grounded element in the action. But I really want to have a clear space when I come for my Shavasana. Sometimes people do use blankets over their bodies because it weights everything down. But I find that actually you could get a couple of blankets just over the thighs in this way. So if you've got a couple of blankets, and it's quite nice to use them in this way, and soften your belly and just see that you come into your Shavasana. Let the feet fall out to the side and just be there.